is a mansion of more than 80 rooms, but most of them have been closed off for years, and their only visitors have been ghosts and specters that locked doors cannot keep out or in, as I have been kept a prisoner by the treachery of a small boy who has told no one where I am. Time has seemed endless, and all I can do is sit and wonder if anyone will ever come to my rescue.
Oh, Kitten! What kept you out so late on a night like this?
Not fit for man nor beast. The kittens love it.
Your mother was worried. She was about to send a posse out to search for you.
Oh, she never would have found me.
Well, are you as clever at hiding as Vicky is?
Vicky? What do you mean?
Well, she wasn't here for dinner, and no one's seen her around anywhere.
That's funny. I wonder where she could be.
What about that artist friend? Do you think she might be visiting Evans's house?
No, that's one place I'm positive she would not be tonight.
Well, why? Why is tonight so special?
I believe Maggie Evans had other plans for this evening.
Oh, you sound a little vehement.
Why shouldn't I be? Unless I am very much mistaken, she's busy right now entertaining a certain person who used to be a friend of mine.
Oh, and may one inquire as to the identity of this ex-friend?
Joe Haskell. That's who.
Sounds like a Joseph Conrad story. How'd you get back, Joe?
Well, we didn't. Not that night. See, they cut the engines off and we just drifted. Some of us sang songs, and the old men told their favorite stories. Of course, everybody had heard them 100 times, except me.
Oh, I wish I'd been there.
And then we all realized that the silence had sort of crept up on us. The sea was calm again. It was starting to get light. And so with the sun rising, of course, we got our bearings back and returned to port about, 5 in the afternoon. It had been quite a night.
What a great adventure. Hey, how about another cup of coffee?
Oh, sounds great.
You know, Joe, we do have one thing in common.
Well, what's that?
Boats.
Boats? What does a girl know about boats? If I even start to talk to Carolyn about them, she gets seasick.
Well, try me.
All right. Why is a boat always called a she?
Oh, Joe, that's easy. Because we're so unpredictable. It's like hurricanes. You never know which way we're going to turn.
Very good, Miss Evans. I gotta admit, you seem to qualify as quite an expert on diesel engines. But now we get to something a little bit more difficult.
Okay, proceed, Professor.
Describe to me, if you can, the rigging of a schooner's sails.
Well, first of all, the inner and outer jibs are sometimes fitted instead of a single jib. In that case, we have 1 flying jib, 2 jib, 3 forestaysail, 4 foresail, 4 gaff topsail, 6 main topmast staysail, 7 mainsail, 8 main gaff topsail.
That's right.
Did I leave anything out?
Well, I don't know. To be sure, I'd have to look it up myself.
Oh. Joe, what about your boat? The one you want to buy?
Oh, well, most of the time I think that's just a dream of mine. Well, it's another year and a half yet before I'll even be able to make the down payment.
Year and a half? I thought you were going into partnership with someone to get the boat.
Yeah, but that fell through.
You know, sometimes I could just kick my pop in the pants.
What's your father got to do with it?
Nothing. That's why I could kick him in the pants. You see, about 10 years ago, Pop sold a bunch of paintings for $15,000.
15,000?
He blew every cent of it. But just think, if he'd saved even a part of that money, then we could have gone into partnership with you.
Well, I gotta admit, you're a lot prettier than my ex-partner.
You know what I'm gonna do? I mean, just because of what Pop did, I'm gonna snitch some of that fine old brandy he's been saving and lace this coffee the way it should be laced. That is, if you'll join me.
Oh, I'll join you, all right. There's only one small problem.
What's that?
What'll you do with a drunken sailor? What'll you do with a drunken sailor? What'll you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning?
You promise you won't tell Mother?
Well, I promise with reservations.
Because I was with Burke tonight.
How did you run into Burke?
Well, I went into the Blue Whale looking for a little excitement. And there he was, sitting and drinking with Sam Evans.
Burke was with Sam Evans?
Uh-huh. I couldn't have been more surprised.
And I couldn't be more surprised that you're learning that you were with Burke. You know how he hates us?
I don't think he hates me.
You say that you care for me, and yet you make every effort to be friendly with the very man who's sworn he's out to destroy me.
Uncle Roger Burke was entirely different this evening. He was friendly with everybody, especially Sam Evans.
I can imagine. Did you by any chance find out how they got so friendly?
They just said that this was one night when no man had any enemies. Everybody was friends.
What a shame that I wasn't invited to your little party.
They were singing in memory of a good friend whose ghost was seeking vengeance.
Bill Malloy. Did they elaborate on this theory of this ghost-seeking vengeance?
No. But Burke did ask me why Vicky hadn't come along, and that's how I know he hasn't seen her.
Yes, and that brings us back to the mystery of Miss Vicky Winters. What in the world do you suppose has happened to her?
I haven't the faintest.
It's odd, isn't it? She really came to us out of nowhere.
Uncle Roger, she came to us from that foundling home she worked in. You know that.
Well, but neither she nor they knew who she really was. And so, as I say, she came to us from nowhere, and now it seems as though she's disappeared into nowhere.
You don't mean that, Uncle Roger. Vicky couldn't have just disappeared.
Well, if a person is there one minute and then not there the next minute, what do you call it?
I know, but you yourself just said there had to be some logical explanation.
Well, it's very true. You remember not long ago how upset people got when Bill Malloy disappeared. But there was a logical explanation for it.
Yes, he was dead. You don't think anything might have happened?
Of course not, Kitten. I didn't mean to put such an idea into your head. Believe me, if I thought that any harm had come to Vicky, I'd be out scouring the countryside.
Then what do you think did happen to her?
Well, I imagine for reasons of her own, she just wanted to be by herself. But you know, I have a feeling that she's not very far away.
Don't you think you ought to at least look?
Are you that upset about it?
Yes. Uncle Roger, I'd hate to think anything happened to her.
Well, now, don't you worry your pretty head about a thing. I promised your mother that I would sit down here and wait for Vicky, but I didn't promise her that you would sit up here and wait with me. Now, you just bundle yourself off to bed.
Then you think she's all right?
Well, I've always been honest with you, Kitten. I really don't know.
You'll let me know the minute you find out anything?
Of course.
Wow. Where'd the time ever get to?
I think some of it went into that brandy bottle.
Oh, listen, I gotta get home to hit the sack.
Me too. Except that I'm already home.
Well, listen, before I go, let me first prove that I still have some manners. Thank you, Miss Evans, for a very great dinner.
Thank you, sir. Well,
I do have to be getting home. I also ought to thank you for the education you've given me on the subject of the rigging of sailing vessels.
My pleasure.
No, I bet it was. But it was a great pleasure showing off all that knowledge to an ignorant lout like me.
Oh, Joe, will you stop knocking yourself? You're not an ignorant lout, and you know it. Anybody who knows what he wants and goes after it isn't ignorant. It's us poor slobs that don't know what we want that are ignorant.
Now who's knocking himself?
Oh, I'm allowed 2 minutes of self-pity a day.
Well, as I said, it is past my bedtime.
Mine, too.
Well, thanks again for everything.
Maybe another night, huh?
Oh, you bet.
Good night, Joe.
Good night, Maggie.
Good night, pal.
Uncle Roger, I've just thought of one other thing. Uncle Roger!
David, is that you? David? Who is it? Who's out there?
Victoria Winters, leave Collinwood. You are in danger here. Go home. Go home.
Who is it? Who is it?
Vicky! Thank God!
All
Right.
right.
Get up here by yourself.
It was David. He's a monster. You're right. He locked me in.
There, you're all right now, dear. You're all right.
How did you know how to find me?
Something David said. I put two and two together. I thought you might be up here.
You don't know how horrible it was.
What happened?
He got me up here. He admitted he stole the pen, and it was in here. And then he left me alone, and he ran out, and he locked the door.
There. Let's get out of here. We can talk about it later. Come
Oh,
on.
he did it deliberately. He tried to kill you, and now he tried to kill me.
Come on, dear. Let's get out of this dismal place.
That's not all. There are ghosts in Collinwood.
Ghosts?
I never believed in them before, but I do now. I saw a ghost.
You saw a ghost?
It was here, in this room. It was tall and shimmering, covered with water and dripping with seaweed. I know it was a ghost. It spoke to me.
It did what?
It warned me to leave Collinwood.
Who was it?
It was Bill Malloy.
Tony Bennett stars in his first TV special, a one-man show with 60 minutes of songs as only Tony can sing them. Be watching tomorrow night at 10, 9 o'clock Central Time, in color, on ABC. Dark Shadows, number 88, BTR 101766, Air 102666. Take one.
My name